Well, I mean, ladies and gentlemen, Manchester United have won 3 games in a row, first and foremost. Can we clap it up, please? Can we have an applause? Yes. Last week, obviously, getting that big win against Liverpool. Emotions were riding high. It was a great watch-along that we did on the channel as well. No watch-along this week. I will let you guys know when the next one will be. I was watching the game, enjoying the game from the comfort of my own home, and it seemed like it was on its way to being a surefire victory, a comfortable victory against the Brighton side, who I felt started the game relatively well, but then fizzled out really quickly. And when it got bad, it got really bad for them. We're speaking mostly in possession and defensively. Manchester United were really able to take advantage of the mistakes that Brighton made in their own half, giving away the ball. When you speak about that Casemiro second goal, Matheus Cunha getting his first Manchester United goal, which I feel is always very, very, very important to score that first as soon as possible, and then more come quickly after the other. But it was a really cultured finish by Matheus Cunha in terms of receiving the ball, getting it out of his feet as quick as possible, and just bending it, guiding it around the defender. We've seen him a lot, and even at his time at Wolves, he's been kind of known to be a high volume shooter in that sense from outside the box. We've seen it quite a few times this season as well from Matheus Cunha. But this time around, it wasn't a shot where he puts his laces through the ball. He really guides it around the defender, catches Verbruggen off guard because it's in his blind spot, and it's just a wonderful finish. United get that second goal, and it adds an element of comfortability once again. That heavily deflected strike from Casemiro, who I thought was superb today in that midfield. It's not every day you look at Manchester United's midfield or a certain player from Manchester United's midfield and say he was absolutely fantastic. But I do think Casemiro played a fantastic game today, in my opinion. And then Brighton Mbeumo, 2 goals, and I think each of those 2 goals were extremely important at the times that they came. The third goal, which at the time, again, seemed like it was game, set, and match Manchester United. We'll get into the reason why that wasn't the case afterwards. And then, of course, the 4th goal in added time to really well and truly wrap up the game. Devastating finish. Both of them were devastating. When you look at the first goal, Brighton Mbeumo's first goal, Benjamin Sesko picking up, holding up play, pinging that into his winger. And this is what you love to see, receiving the ball. And that's why, if I'm not mistaken, you know, that strategy of Senna Lamens playing those long balls towards the likes of Benjamin Sesko to win those first and second actions and bring those wingers into play, especially in a game like this. There have been conversations in the sense of Manchester United needing to change things up and adapt the way that they play and the personnel that they play with in order to make the most of the opposition that they are playing against. And I think today was a great example of that. You bring in Benjamin Sesko, put him up top to win those first balls, those first aerial duels, and then you can bring the likes of Mbeumo. You can bring the likes of Ahmad, who was on in the wing-back role today and threatened from time to time. Should have won a penalty in the first half, which was, not deemed a penalty, even after a VAR check, which kind of baffled me. And I only looked at it probably once or twice, but let me know what you think in the comments. Bringing the likes of Matheus Cunha into play as well, who was devastating as he has been to start this season, even though he hasn't quite got the goals and the stats to back up those performances. There have been some games where you've looked at his impact and said, yeah, we've got a real player on our hands. And the title of this video most likely is going to be the new attackers paying dividends. And if you look at those 3, Sesko, Cunha, and Mbeumo in particular, those 3 were integral to our successes today in a certain aspect, depending on where we were in the game. And I'll I'll kind of go on to the latter stages, right, where Brighton get 2 goals back, and I'll fast forward all the way back to 65th, and then 2 70-minute substitutions. If I look at it now, it's Kobe Mainoo coming on for Casemiro, Patrick Dorgu coming on for Ahmad, and Aiden Heaven coming on for Luke Shaw. Now, by then, Manchester United are 3-0 up, cruising, smooth sailing. Could have been more potentially, because Bumo had a couple of opportunities after that. I'm sure Bruno had a shot on goal or two. I can't clearly recite every single opportunity that we had, but there were more chances to add to that lead, that comfortable lead at the time. But and I don't remember where the conversation came from, but I remember watching something recently, and it made me think how important it is to make substitutions at the right time. And when you think about it, you're essentially making 3 substitutions in a game state where the Manchester United players, for better or for worse, believe that they have won the game. They believe that that game is wrapped up. And then suddenly, you get that wonderful free kick from Danny Welbeck, who always seems to be able to come back and score against us nonetheless. But it was a wickedly paced free kick, beat Senna Lamens without being perfectly placed in a sense. Just the pace from a power perspective beat Senna Lamens, and I'm not sure if he could have done much with that. I just feel like the power and the distance of which it was strike from, it was perfect for Danny Welbeck just to set it up and get a good amount of power on it to beat the goalkeeper, and that got them back into the game. And all of a sudden, the away fans, the away crowd, they're picking up in decibels. The players are feeling that energy and vibing off of that energy. And then once again, when you speak about the game state and the game situation, it's flipped on its head. Because all of a sudden now, Manchester United, from those 3 substitutions, have picked up the mentality. And that mentality is spread across those Manchester United players to say, hey, let's just hold on to this lead now. We're comfortably 3-0 or 3-1 up. We can defend. But no, Brighton, they push, they probe, and they suddenly get a second back, even though it was late, in added time from let me get the name right. The Greek substitute Kostoulas. So he gets the second goal back from Brighton, and then all of a sudden it's worries in the dance. And you're thinking, like, I was already getting ready for the debrief, getting ready to put my notes down, getting ready to shoot this video, and then all of a sudden I got to pick up my head again, because it's like, oh my goodness, what is going to happen right now? What is really going to happen if Brighton are able to get a 3rd goal and equalize? It would have been absolutely catastrophic. When we think about the reaction after that Liverpool game, of joy, of finally being able to win 2 games in a row under Ruben Amorim, fumbling a 3-goal cushion at Old Trafford would have been absolutely catastrophic and would have set us back in terms of the mindset of the fan base, the mood within the camp as well. And then, of course, the media. We all know what the media brings when it comes to Manchester United too. So it was integral that Brian Mbeumo got that goal when it came. It didn't matter how it came. It just mattered that we were able to put that game to bed. And you saw the reactions of the players following Cunha, following Mbeumo, following, just the entire Manchester United squad, the way they were reacting to that full-time whistle, the way the fans at Old Trafford were reacting to that full-time whistle, you could sense that a weight had been lifted off their shoulders, and it was integral, very, very important that weight had to be lifted by somebody and something. And today, again, it was the attackers. It was Matheus Cunha. It was Brian Mbeumo. Those guys getting the crucial goals and making sure that we had 3 points onto that tally. I believe Manchester United, as it stands, are in the top 4 in the Premier League. Obviously, we have a bunch of games to play tomorrow. But as it stands, yeah, we're in 4th place level with City. They have a game to play. But look, it's a good place to be. It's a good place to be. 3 wins in a row. And you carry, once again, when you speak about the reaction, you carry that momentum, you carry that confidence. And that is the most important thing with such a gap in between, you know, a game, today's game to next week's game. It's important as a manager, as a coaching staff, as a team, that you use those training sessions throughout the week to maintain that level of importance, but also carry over that momentum and understand what went well, but also what didn't went well. And I think a game like today, you've also got to reassess some of the things that went wrong, assess some of the things that went wrong in a sense, and say we cannot let that happen. Manchester United cannot let that happen. Easily, today's game ends 3-3. It was an open affair. You know what I mean? I said Manchester United had a lot of chances to potentially add on to the 4 goals we already scored. Brighton may have had a few opportunities too. So, you know, we're heading into November 1st, Saturday next week. Early kickoff, it looks like. It will be a 12:30 against Nottingham Forest. They get their first win in Europe under Sean Dyche. And I'm not exactly sure who they're playing this week. Let me double check. Nottingham Forest. They'll be playing Bournemouth, who are equally in a really good position in the Premier League after having a great start under Andoni Iraola. So it'll be interesting to see what that result will be tomorrow. But we'll be facing them, and it'll be interesting to see what changes Sean Dyche is able to make in the span of a week or so. But it's important that Manchester United control the controllables, continue to control the controllables in the things that are in their destiny, and they'll reap the rewards of all of the good work that they put in from now until next Saturday, next Sunday, next weekend, and onwards. But yeah, I'm relieved in a sense, because I wasn't trying to see an almighty capitulation, to go into social media and to see a potential reaction of enormous proportions and not sensational by way of Manchester United fans. So yeah, it was an important win, an important game. If I'm looking at anything, and Ruben Amorim in particular, and I'm not sure if he said anything about this or has been questioned about this in general, it's about really methodically thinking when you're making substitutions. You're making 3 substitutions in succession. Those are big changes to the dynamic of the team. So you need to think about, and I'm sure as a manager, he's looking into this. But from my perspective, you look at the game state, the situation that both teams are in, and what potentially may come from those substitutions and those players entering the pitch for the ones that are exiting. And thinking about the impact those who are coming off the pitch have had on the game thus far. So that's my biggest gripe with today's game, and part of the reason why things just dramatically switched in favor of our opponents today. Once again, something that we can't allow to happen, almost did allow to happen today if you're thinking about an almighty turn of events, but it didn't. We got the 3 points. We move on now to Nottingham Forest next weekend. We move. Let me know in the comments what you thought of the game when we were 3-0 up, and then it was suddenly 3-2 and ended 4-2, and that reaction soon after. Ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this video, please hit a like on the video. Subscribe to CM22ET. Hype up the video if you see that button as well. I've been hearing about this hype thing. You can really help this channel grow and move into different algorithms. So if you enjoy what you see, you know, help a brother out over here. Help myself, help Cappy out. You know what to do. Share to your friends and frenemies, of course. Word of mouth, word of social media, word of everything is very important in the growth of our YouTube channels on this fantastic journey of content creation. And yeah, I think I've said everything. Shout out to you for watching this video and reaching the end of this video. Share your thoughts on the game, the result, and what we need to do moving forward to keep this run going. Until the next time, I'll see you lot. Sinner bit.
He done with a counter part, finds that courage.
Check anywhere, specialist ballers. Goals get busting in your corner. Shoot in a ball like a box office movie. Warner, a night for your keeper's face, we can't warn you.